Okay, so if you're doing any kind of business in Europe, you've probably heard the term sovereign cloud. And chances are it's gone from being some niche IT headache to a major topic in your strategy meetings. Well, that's because it's no longer just about ticking a compliance box. It's become about survival and really about competitive advantage. Let's dive into why this is now so business critical. To get a sense of just how massive this shift is, just look at this number. This is the projected value of the global sovereign cloud market by 2033. I mean, we're talking about a market that's exploding from just under $100 billion in 2024 to well over $500 billion. This isn't just a trend. This is a fundamental reshaping of the entire digital landscape. So why the explosion? What's really driving this absolutely astronomical growth? It's not just that more companies want to use the cloud. It's because they're caught in the middle of a massive, high-stakes conflict that's playing out across the globe. At the very heart of this whole sovereign cloud thing is a direct clash between international laws. It's pretty much a classic case of an unstoppable force meeting an immovable object, and businesses like yours are stuck right in the middle of it. And this right here is the core conflict. On one hand, you've got the U.S. Cloud Act. This law basically gives American authorities the power to reach across borders and demand data from U.S. tech companies no matter where that data is physically stored. But on the other hand, the EU's GDPR explicitly forbids that exact scenario. So you can see the problem, right? If your data is with a U.S. provider, even in a data center in Frankfurt, you're in a serious legal bind. And believe me, this isn't just some theoretical risk. This number? That's roughly the total of all GDPR fines that have been handed out as of March 2025. Regulators are absolutely not messing around, and the financial hit for getting this wrong is, well, it's staggering. This number alone makes the case for getting your compliance strategy right. Okay, so everyone's talking about sovereign cloud as the solution, but here's where a lot of people get it wrong. There's this common misconception that it just means keeping your data physically located inside Europe. And while that's part of it, it's a dangerously incomplete picture. You see, a true sovereign cloud is a complete strategy. It's about achieving what you could call digital autonomy. It's not just about where your data is sitting, but who has legal control over it, who actually operates the infrastructure, and whether your business can stay standing even if geopolitical tensions flare up. This strategy really stands on three key pillars. First up is data sovereignty. That's you controlling where your data lives and who gets to access it. Simple enough. Second is operational sovereignty. This means your infrastructure is independent and transparent, so it can't be shut down or interfered with by a foreign power. And finally, the big one, digital sovereignty. That's the ultimate goal of having holistic control over your entire digital ecosystem. Now, if you're wondering why this is such an urgent issue, this chart says it all. A whopping 69% of Europe's cloud market is dominated by the big US hyperscalers. AWS, Google Cloud, Microsoft Azure. So when the very companies that are subject to the US Cloud Act control nearly 70% of the market, that legal collision course we talked about, it becomes an unavoidable, everyday reality for almost every business in Europe. To really achieve sovereignty, you have to master Europe's digital rulebook. And yeah, it can feel like a total alphabet soup of acronyms, but each one is targeting a very specific piece of this puzzle. Let's just quickly break them down. So it's not just one rule, but a whole suite of regulations that work together. You've got GDPR, which is really the foundation for all data protection. Then there's DORA, which is laser-focused on financial firms, and it demands that they can prove their business can continue running from within the EU. NIS2 expands that idea to all critical infrastructure, really drilling down on cybersecurity. And finally, the EUDataAct tackles vendor lock-in, basically giving you the right to take your data and go elsewhere. You can see how each piece builds towards that same goal, digital autonomy. Okay, that's the what and the why. Now, let's get to the part that really matters. How do you actually implement a sovereign cloud strategy without, blowing up your entire business in the process? The good news is this can be a really manageable process. It all starts with assessment and planning. You have to know what data you have and what risks you face. From there, you move into preparation and design, where you architect the new sovereign setup. Then comes the actual heavy lifting, the data and application migration. That's followed by rigorous testing and validation. You have to make sure everything works and is compliant. And only then do you make the final cutover and implementation. It's a deliberate journey, not just flipping a switch. And along that journey, there are some non-negotiable best practices you need to build in. Pseudonymization is a big one. It's about making data less sensitive before it even gets to the cloud. Bring your own key is critical. It ensures that only you hold the keys to unlock your data. Resilient EU backups means there's no jurisdictional risk, even in a disaster. And auditable recovery gives you those tamper-proof logs you'll need to prove you're compliant. So, just when you think you've finally got a handle on data sovereignty, bam! The next huge challenge is already on our doorstep: artificial intelligence. The principles are the same, but the complexity is on a whole other level. The EU AI Act is poised to become the new global standard for AI regulation. It introduces a whole bunch of new rules around transparency and risk management for AI models. And it's pushing this whole concept of sovereignty into a brand new, incredibly complex frontier. And this quote from the source material just hits the nail on the head. I mean, how can you possibly ensure sovereignty when the training data for your AI model comes from a million different global sources and you have no idea where most of it came from? It's a massive, massive challenge. So what can you actually do? The game plan is shifting towards what's feasible and what's defensible. You might not be able to control the entire history of the training data, but you absolutely can and must control the runtime environment where the AI actually operates. Using open source tools gives you more transparency. And honestly, just being clear about what you can and cannot audit is a huge part of having a credible strategy. Okay, let's bring this all home. After navigating the regulations, the tech, and the future of AI, what is the real core takeaway for your business strategy right now? At the end of the day, it all boils down to these 3 pillars of value. First, regulatory compliance. That's table stakes. You avoid billions in fines and huge damage to your brand. Second, you build real operational resilience, basically insulating your business from outside legal and political shocks. But honestly, the most important one might be market trust. In today's economy, proving you are a responsible steward of data is one of the most powerful competitive advantages you can have. Ultimately, Sovereign Cloud forces us all to recognize a new reality, where your data lives and who controls it is no longer just a technical detail for the IT department. It is a core component of your business strategy. So the only real question left is your strategy ready for what's coming next?